The first thing that comes to mind when we think of golf is a refined and relaxing sport. However, when sports like golf become commercialized, two things may swiftly rise: animosity and hatred. You'd think that everyone would defend their interests to some level, but the PGA Tour has gone one step further. So stay tuned till the end, as in today's video, we will share an overview of the fact that the PGA Tour denies waivers for Saudi-backed rival series. Welcome to 24 Golf. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for your daily dose of golf content. With that being said, let's get started. First and foremost, there are no exemptions for members. Before we get into the specifics, let's take a look at the big picture. The first thing you should know is that the PGA Tour has flatly refused to allow its members to compete in a competing tournament. The Saudi-financed tournament keeps dividing the sport, as the PGA sees the LIV-Golf Series as an attack on the established PGA Tour, and the controversy is centered around politics, power and money. What do you think of the new LIV-Golf tournament? The PGA Tour golfers, on the other hand, are faced with a difficult choice between the two, despite the fact that this decision was only made public on Tuesday via a secret memo mailed to tour participants. Practically everyone saw it coming a mile away. After all, by forbidding its members from competing in other tournaments, the PGA Tour is preserving its own business. Golf, on the other hand, isn't intended to be like that, isn't it? It's a gentleman's game, for sure. Such an out-of-character surge is the last thing we'd expect. Nonetheless, the PGA Tour has said that any players who refuse to comply with the prohibition would be penalized. It's unknown what that penalty will be at this time, but we expect it to be a suspension based on how committed these players are to the new league. We can't dispute that choosing sides for the world's finest men's golf players would be difficult. Don't be deceived by appearances. These athletes are well-paid business people who must now make a public decision about where they will get their millions of dollars. What did the PGA Tour have to say about it? If you're wondering how a major league like the PGA Tour could refuse to release its players outright, consider this. Then there's how they went about doing it. They sent out an email to every PGA Tour member informing them that their application had been denied. According to their tournament regulations, your members are not permitted to compete in the Saudi Golf League's London event. And of course, to sweeten the deal a little, they tacked on a phrase declaring that it is in the best interests of the tour and its players to discuss politics. Let's get one thing straight before you start asking questions about free will here. Without official permission, PGA Tour members are not permitted to compete in non-sanctioned events. But it doesn't mean that these guys will always be associated with the PGA. The PGA Tour often gives releases to players who wish to compete in events outside of North America in order to keep things moving. In recent years, tour participants have also competed in the Saudi International, as they did on the European Tour. Maybe it's because of the money they're offering. What was the name of the person who applied for the release? We wish we could tell you which athletes are ready to have a meltdown since their releases were denied. But we don't know much ourselves. We may assume that some players applied with the explicit intention of participating in the tournament and later joining the LIV-Golf business, while others just wanted to keep their options open. The only information we have on who applied for the release comes from Greg Norman. In a recent interview before the bomb about no funding was dropped, Norman said that 6 of the top 50 players, 19 of the top 100 and 36 of the top 150 play in this tiny club tournament. If you ask us, that's a lot of players. It's no surprise that the PGA Tour felt threatened. Norman stated in the same interview that these figures were rather outstanding. In light of all the negative press surrounding players' failure to show up for the event, he also stated that he is proud of his fellow golfers for acting as independent contractors and picking where they want to play. That comment hasn't aged well at all. The Saudi Arabia scandal has now entered the picture. Everyone understands that Saudi Arabia's significant participation in the upcoming tour has already sparked a firestorm of criticism. You may have heard the headlines a few months ago when Phil Mickelson was chastised for claiming that Saudi Arabia has a poor human rights record. Let's clear things up for you. He was alluding to the assassination of a reporter for the Washington Post. Despite this, Nicholson said he would still play on the new tour since it was a once-in-a-lifetime chance to put pressure on the PGA Tour. Greg Norman, another well-known golfer, offered his own view on Saudi Arabia's assassination of the journalist. In a series of uncomfortable encounters with reporters, he not only downplayed the journalist's death, but also tried to separate himself from Saudi Arabia's recent 81 executions by claiming he doesn't want to go into politics and such. Whether that wasn't enough, he also said he didn't know if he has any homosexual acquaintances to deflect attention away from a question concerning Saudi Arabia's treatment of LGBTQ people. Remember how he mentioned individuals will go to tremendous lengths to safeguard their own interests? Norman is the CEO of LIV-Golf Investments, the company that is supporting the league, which is funded by Saudi Arabia. You may now solve the puzzle on your own. The LIV Tour is currently toxic. At this juncture, we believe that the PGA circuit's direct threat, combined with Norman's intriguing remarks, has rendered the LIV Tour toxic for players who were contemplating participation. Even though we don't know what will happen the next month, it appears that only a small number of golfers with little or no PGA Tour experience, or who are past their prime, will join the new league. Nobody is claiming that the Saudi-backed league is short on cash, but they do value stats. For the time being, the only thing we know is that the best players have renewed their commitment to the PGA Tour. What is the fairness of these decisions? The PGA Circuit Commissioner, Jay Monaghan, has said unequivocally that any players who participate in the rival league will be suspended from the tour. He also extended this punitive penalty to everyone who wishes to participate in even one LIV golf event. Greg Norman was quick to criticize the decision when it was made public. The PGA Tour, he claims, is depriving professional golfers of their right to participate. Unless you're playing in a PGA Tour event, despite the fact that golf should be a free and open industry, he claims the PGA Tour is hell-bent on turning it into an awful monopoly. The impartiality of these judgments is debatable. If you ask us, enclosing your golfers and not allowing them to play anywhere else would be a good way to safeguard your company. To us, that sounds a little authoritarian. The most astonishing aspect is how golfers are ready to accept these unjust rulings without retaliating in any way. What has happened to the world? Despite all of the golf controversy, LIV Golf did not hesitate to announce plans for further events from 2023 through 2025. We believe that a court battle might be the next stage in this rivalry before it gets out of hand. Monaghan is certain that the tour's latest actions will pass judicial scrutiny. However, we aren't so sure about that. As if the competition wasn't enough drama, there's now Phil Mickelson's condition to contend with. Given that Mickelson is still the defending champion, there are only a few days remaining until he needs to commit to competing in the next PGA Championship.
Yes!
Mickelson has been in several difficult situations in recent months and has even been linked to the LIV Golf Circuit. The PGA Tour is only concerned with a game that both its players and spectators adore. We don't know what will happen between the PGA and the LIV in the future, but there is certainly a lot of upheaval in the golf game right now. The real issue is, how long will this new rival tour will be able to keep going? Also, is that sufficient to pose a real threat to major leagues such as the PGA Tour? This video has come to an end. Do you think it's appropriate for the PGA Tour to be so defensive? Drop your ideas in the comment section below. Having said that, that concludes today's video. If you enjoyed our content today, I'd like to ask you to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for the more golf-related latest news to come. Also, press the bell icon to stay updated with our activities. Thanks for watching, see you soon.